Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining War of Supremacy. In the game of War of Supremacy, each player is battling over the territory, which will be whichever card is flipped up. They'll have a hand of cards that look something like that, and in your turn you will be playing cards from your hand to take control of the territory. Once one of the players is in control of the territory, each other player will have a chance to knock them out. So they will be battling the player who has that control for them to take control. You will win that territory if you are still in control of the territory when it gets back to your turn again. There are two main types of cards. Creature cards, which are drawn from this deck, and spell cards, which are drawn from this deck. Everyone starts the game with a hand of 5 creatures and 3 spells. The main way you're going to take control or battle over a territory is by using your creatures, but the spells will be able to be added to that. Once you have taken control of a territory with some creatures, you won't be able to add any more to that, so you will have to defend using only your spell cards. Now, the rules on attacking are relatively straightforward. You can either send in as many creatures as you have from the same faction or same color. There's a faction icon there for those who are color struggly like myself. Notice we have 4 factions available. Or you can send in as many creatures that you have from the same creature type. So in this case, all 4 of these are beasts, even though they're from different factions. The only other thing to watch out for is the icon in the top right hand corner. It is merely representative of the strength of that particular card. But if you're wanting to take this guy into battle, you can only have one of these icons within your pack that's going in. The other thing to be aware of, other than the fact that you're battling over territory, is there are 3 different symbols on the side here, each with numbers below them. That is the strength of your creature within each of the 3 different forms of combat. The combat form is dictated by a card randomly drawn from this deck. So at the moment, we are on the blade combat form. Means we're only taking into account the bottom number. So if I was to send these 2 in because they're from the same faction, I would have a combat level of 2 only. I could send just this one in to get that same combat level of 2, or alternately I could send just this one in to get the combat level of 4. Now you'll also notice that there's some writing on the bottom of the cards. So when this card's played, for example, you'll pick up 1 card from the deck and place in your hand. When this one's played, you'll be picking up cards depending on how many cards each of your opponents has. Once you have defeated a territory, this is the first player's turn, you will then select to take 2 cards from the deck. This territory, however, allows you to take extra cards until you have 5. He's got more than 5, so it doesn't really affect him, but that might affect later on in the game. I can draw 2 more cards as long as I have less than 10 cards in my hand, so 10 cards is not a hand limit, but if you do have 10 cards or more, you're not able to draw any further. You have the choice of either drawing from the creature or the spell deck, or you could take a combination of both. And if you didn't play any cards in your turn, you actually get to draw 3 cards instead of just the 2. It's the next player's turn, and they have a chance to do exactly the same thing to see if they can beat your creature. So in this case, they would need to beat a level 4. If they can only get to level 4, the defending creature or the defending player is the winner of that particular combat. Whenever a creature is defeated in combat, it will go to the discard pile, which is just up next to the draw pile of its deck. The same with spells, there'll be a discard pile there. In this game, it's called the grave. The other thing that you have are spells. So here are 3 spells. Notice that there's a little area just here on each card that tells you when you can play the card. So this one is play on creature, which means that during your turn, you could actually add that to a creature. In this case, it changes his strength to however many cards I've got in my hand. So that's played for the positive. If someone has not many cards in their hand, you might be able to play that on their creature once it's been played to reduce the amount of strength it has. Or in your turn, you could play this card, and what that does, it changes the combat form to magic. So it replaces this card, and suddenly I've got a strength 7 sitting on the territory. Other cards allow you to play on a condition. So once something happens, so if a spell goes to the graveyard in this case, you're able to take it into place in your hand. So you can play that out of your hand to take the card that's been put over here. The other type of card is play in any turn, and that allows you basically to play in someone else's turn to get the benefits of what's written on the bottom. That will continue until this player on his turn, of course he's holding the territory at the moment. If he is not beaten by either of the other players, on his turn he will claim that territory as his own and put it to the side just as a point for the end of the game. That will go off to the discard pile. That's in its own discard pile. And then we flip over a new battle form and a new territory. And the next player in player order will have a chance to take that territory first and then try and hold it. The other way that you can win a territory is by having a strength of 20 or more when you're at the end of a combat. So if I've got a strength of 20 in my hand, I can just take that territory straight away. I don't have to wait for it to go all the way around the table. Even if there's someone else in that territory, if I've got a way to take it with a 20 strength or more, then it's mine. I don't have to wait, and then it'll be the next player's turn. You may be wondering what the dice are for. There's a couple of cards that you need to roll the dice, and if it's above a certain number, or depending on how many cards, then the spell will actually take action or it won't take action. They are not used much in this game. We all know my preference towards or against dice, so I won't go into that much more. And these counters up the top are for each of the 3 different battle forms, so you can help you remember to add or subtract depending on what other spells are with a card. So when you're adding up all those numbers, it just helps keep track of it a little bit easier without having to read the text. And the green one is to be used if it's a spell or something that affects all 3 of the different battle forms. The game is won once someone has collected or won 2 of the territories. However, in a 2 or 3 player game, you need to actually win 3 territories rather than just the 2. I think that's it. I hope this helps you get War of Supremacy to the table. I hope this gives you a better idea of the game. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you wish to be Gamesplained, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at thegamesplainer to see what games I've been playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.